Let us begin with the truth that makes the mind still and the heart beat with a new rhythm. What you are conscious of being, you become. And what another is conscious of you being, they experience you as. When you deliberately assume the feeling of being desired beyond reason, when you saturate your mind with the certainty that you are the one who occupies their thoughts in the quiet hours, the one whose image lingers behind their eyes when they try to sleep, the one whose name hums silently beneath every other thought they have, then without force, without struggle, the invisible threads of the mind draw them toward you like an unshakable current. This is not manipulation, this is creation. It is the law of consciousness in motion. You are not waiting for their obsession to happen, you are embodying it now. And when you embody it, it becomes their reality. You must feel, not merely think, that you are the pulse in their heart, the warmth in their breath, the ache they cannot ignore. This feeling is the seed. It does not ask how the ground will open or how the rain will fall. It simply knows that it will grow. And as you persist in this knowing, their behavior begins to reflect your inner conviction. They will try to carry on as though life is unchanged. But inside, the gravity of your being pulls on them. They will reach for distractions, but every path circles back to you. You become the center of their mental orbit, the quiet obsession that flavors every hour. Do not look to their present actions as evidence, for the outer world is always the shadow of yesterday's assumptions. If you see delay, it is not because your desire is weak, it is only because you have allowed yourself to measure with the wrong instrument. The truth is unfolding in the unseen, in the realm where thought shapes form. This is where you must live. Picture their eyes when they think of you, the softness in their breath, the longing in their chest, the way their hands itch to hold you. Feel it as though it is happening now, for in consciousness it is already done. The mind that holds you in this certainty will see the outer world rearranged to match. You are not hoping they will become obsessed with you. You are knowing it. You are not wishing they will call or write. You are certain they feel compelled to, because their entire being is restless without your presence. Imagine them waking in the middle of the night, unable to sleep because the thought of you presses against their mind like a tide that will not recede. Imagine them going about their day, but everything they see, every sound they hear, every scent in the air carries some echo of you. This is not fantasy. It is the deliberate alignment of consciousness with the truth you choose to live in. And when you persist, the invisible link between your mind and theirs grows stronger until it becomes the most natural thing in the world for them to reach for you. Release the need to analyze their behavior. The human mind wants to cling to science, to measure progress by surface appearances, but the creative mind knows better. The creative mind understands that the deeper truth is always unseen at first. The roots of obsession grow in silence, beneath the surface of things. By the time the world sees the flower, it has already been alive in the unseen for a long while. So you hold to the vision in your mind, not as something you will get, but as something that is. You feel their desire for you as your own breath. You know that you are their constant thought, and this knowing does not waver. The moment you claim this in feeling, you set in motion forces that cannot be stopped. They may resist consciously, they may try to distract themselves, but no resistance can outlast the persistence of your assumption. It is like trying to stop the sun from rising. It is futile. The more you return to the feeling of being wanted beyond measure, the more the universe bends the paths of events to make that feeling visible. It will seem like coincidence at first. They will appear in places you are. They will reach out in small ways. They will speak words that echo the thoughts you have been impressing. But understand, these are not coincidences. They are the outpicturing of your inner claim. Your only work is to keep the inner image alive and vivid. Do not plead, do not beg, do not wait. Simply become the version of yourself that is already their obsession. In your mind, walk into a room and know that their heart skips when they see you. Feel their gaze linger when you turn away. Sense the quiet hunger in the way they listen to your words. Let this be your natural state, not an effort. The more effortless it feels, the more naturally it flows into being. For reality is not something you chase, it is something you radiate. And when you radiate being, the one they cannot get out of their mind, you will find the world rearranges to confirm it. This is not about overpowering another's will. It is about aligning your consciousness so fully with the reality you choose that there is no room for contradiction. In that alignment, their mind is drawn as if by gravity, and it will not feel forced to them. It will feel inevitable, as though they have always felt this way and are only now realizing it. You must hold this inner scene with the tenderness of someone protecting a flame in the wind, knowing that your persistence is what allows it to grow. If you drop it and look to the outer world for validation, you weaken the flow. But if you keep it alive in the privacy of your imagination, it becomes stronger than any fact the senses could show you. There will come a moment when you no longer question whether they think of you constantly. You will feel it. You will know it. It will be as natural as knowing that you are breathing. This is the point at which their behavior will begin to reveal it more openly. They will look for reasons to be near you, to speak to you, to connect in ways that seem casual but are charged with a deeper current. They will seek your presence as though it is the answer to a question they cannot even name. And when this happens, you will not be surprised, for you have already lived it in your mind countless times. You will simply smile inwardly, knowing that what you feel inside is the law that governs the outer. So dwell in it now. When you close your eyes, see their face light up at the sight of you. Hear their voice speak your name with a softness that tells you they have been thinking of you all day. Feel the electricity in the air when you are near them. Let this be so real in your imagination that it outweighs any lack in the physical. The outer world is clay in the hands of your assumption. Shape it with your inner certainty, and you will see the image come alive. The moment you accept yourself as their secret obsession, the moment you claim that role in feeling, it is done. All that remains is for time to catch up to your knowing. They cannot escape what you have made real in consciousness, because consciousness is the cause and the outer world is only the echo. You are not waiting for them to become obsessed. You are radiating the reality that they already are. And as you persist, you will watch the unseen currents draw them to you with a power that feels effortless, inevitable, and utterly natural. This is the quiet mastery of creation, to feel the end so deeply that it becomes the only truth you know, and to watch as all the world bows to that truth. You are the one they cannot forget, the thought they cannot silence, the presence they cannot escape. And when you know this, when you live from it, the rest unfolds as surely as night follows day. Feel into it now as though nothing else exists. Let the walls of the room dissolve. Let time vanish. Let the only reality be the one where they are already yours in the deepest, most relentless way. They try to think of other things, but your image interrupts them. They try to immerse themselves in work or conversation, but there you are, standing quietly at the edge of every thought, every moment. This is not about pushing or chasing. This is about holding the state of being so naturally that their mind cannot help but meet it. For thought is not bound by distance, and desire does not need permission to travel. In the unseen corridors between minds, impressions pass freely, and the one you send again and again becomes their dominant reality. Your assumption is like a steady drumbeat in the background of their consciousness. They do not know why they think of you when they wake, why your name seems to surface in idle moments, why certain songs or scents or sights suddenly feel charged with your presence. But you know. You have placed yourself there with such consistency that it has become inevitable. They are drawn without understanding the cause, and they do not need to understand. All that matters is the pull they feel, a pull they cannot reason away. This is the result of persistence, of refusing to give attention to anything that contradicts your chosen reality. You must understand that the outer world may give you moments where it appears they are indifferent, distracted, or distant. These are illusions if they contradict your inner knowing. The creative mind never allows the outer shell of the moment to dictate the truth. Instead, you smile within yourself, knowing the deeper law at work. Every movement, even the ones that seem opposite to your desire, is still being shaped by the current you have set in motion. They are being led, step by step, to the full recognition of you as the one they cannot escape. Your only task is to remain unmoved, to keep the inner fire burning until it becomes the sun of their existence. Do not confuse this with waiting for a miracle. You are not waiting, you are living it now. Waiting suggests it is separate from you somewhere in the future, but living it means you are steeped in it now, tasting it, breathing it, carrying it as naturally as your own heartbeat. When you enter this state, time bends, circumstances bend, people bend, all things conspire to reflect the inner claim. This is why the moment you feel it deeply and without effort, you have already achieved it in the only place creation ever happens, within. What follows is simply the natural unfolding. In your imagination, do not make them struggle to realize their obsession. See them already consumed by it. See the way their eyes search for you in a crowd, the way their smile softens at the mere mention of your name. Feel the weight of their longing in the silence between words. Hear the hesitance in their voice when they try to speak casually, masking the depth of what they feel. This is your inner movie, and you are the sole director. If a scene arises in your mind that contradicts this, you have the power to cut it and replace it instantly. Only the reality you choose deserves your attention. When you begin to move through your day in this state, you will notice subtle shifts. People around you will reflect your energy in unexpected ways. A song will play that mirrors your inner vision. You may overhear words that sound as if they came from the very mind you have been influencing. These are the whispers of creation taking shape. They are not to be clung to as proof, but simply acknowledged as the ripples from the stone you have cast into the unseen. The real proof is the peace you feel in knowing it is done, even before the outer meshes. You see, obsession is not created through force. It is born from the deep resonance between your assumed reality and their receptive mind. When you feel yourself as the ultimate fulfillment of their longing, when you see yourself as the answer to their unspoken questions, the mind of the other cannot help but be drawn. They may attempt to distract themselves, but the pull remains. The more you hold to it without strain, the more natural it becomes, until they themselves cannot remember a time when they were not thinking of you. Now here is where most falter. They begin to measure by hours and days. They begin to look for signs that it is working, and in doing so, shift their focus from being to waiting. The instant you begin to wait, you step out of the state. So you must live in it without the thought of time. Obsession knows no calendar. It builds quietly, invisibly, until it bursts forth as though it happened overnight. But it is your constancy, your refusal to see yourself as anything but the center of their world, that brings it to that point. In the quiet moments of your day, those moments between tasks, between breaths, return to the feeling. Do it without effort, like slipping into a warm stream. Feel them drawn to you, unable to resist, their mind circling back to you again and again, no matter how far they try to wander. Do this without words if you like, for sometimes the feeling alone is enough. The deeper the feeling, the more absolute the creation. Words can help, but feeling is the true power. Words without feeling are like seeds without soil. they cannot take root. It is also vital to see yourself as worthy of this attention, not as someone hoping for it. You are not a beggar at the gates of their heart. You are the one they are already enthroning there. This is the energy you must carry, for the mind responds to self or image with perfect fidelity. If you see yourself as the object of their unending desire, their mind will mirror that. If you see yourself as one who must prove or earn it, you have already stepped into a state of lack. Return always to the truth. It is done, it is yours, it is natural. They may never know how or why this fixation began. They will not suspect the quiet, steady current of your consciousness at work. All they will know is that they feel something for you that they cannot shake, something that colors every corner of their life. And because you have lived it so fully within, you will meet their behavior not with surprise, but with the quiet knowing of one who understands the law. You are not at the mercy of their whims. You are the author of the entire script. As the days pass, you will notice the outer world bending in subtle ways to accommodate this truth. They will seek your opinion where before they did not. They will linger longer in your presence. They will reach out for reasons that seem small, but carry the undercurrent of a deeper need. These are the inevitable signs of an obsession that has taken root, one that no distance, no distraction, no reasoning can undo, for it was planted not in their outer mind, but in the deeper soil of the unseen, and what grows there cannot be uprooted by surface winds. So keep your vision pure. See them as already yours in the way you desire. Feel their desire for you as the very air they breathe. Carry it lightly, without strain as one carries a secret treasure. And watch with the quiet certainty of the Creator as they become exactly what you have claimed all along, unable to escape you, bound by a desire that feels to them as natural and as necessary as life itself. Let every breath you take now be a silent declaration of the truth you have chosen. You are the thought they return to without permission, the pull they feel even when they try to walk away, the presence that inhabits their quietest moments. You are not seeking to become this. You already are. And the only task before you is to live in the certainty of it until the outer bends to match. This is the way all creation works, first in consciousness, then in form. And when you dwell in this reality with the steadiness of one who knows, the outer world has no choice but to align. You may wonder, how does this actually reach them? How does my thought, my feeling, move into their experience? The truth is, minds are not truly separate. The idea that each of us is a sealed-off island is an illusion. In the deeper realm of awareness, all minds are connected, and impressions pass effortlessly from one to another. The image you hold of yourself in relation to them is the image they eventually receive as their own thought. They will not feel it as something imposed on them. They will feel it as their own desire, their own realization. And that is why it works so flawlessly when you persist. This is why you must be careful not to entertain the opposite of what you desire. If you imagine them indifferent, you send that impression too. If you see them moving away from you, you plant that seed as well. The soil of the mind will grow whatever you plant, whether you tend it consciously or not. So be deliberate. Plant only what you wish to see grow. If an image or thought arises that contradicts your chosen reality, do not fight it. Simply replace it. Return again to the scene where they are captivated by you, their attention fixed on you as though the rest of the world has faded. See it, feel it, dwell in it, until the unwanted thought has dissolved like mist in the morning sun. The more vivid and sensory your inner experience, the more potent it becomes. When you imagine them looking at you, do you see the exact softness in their eyes? Can you feel the warmth in the air, the subtle magnetism between you? Can you hear their breath hitch as they speak your name? These details anchor the scene in your mind until it becomes as real as the physical world. And in time, it will be. because the physical world is nothing more than the slow, dense shadow of the imaginal one. You are not here to chase signs. Signs will come, but they are not your goal. Your goal is to live so deeply in the feeling that you no longer need outer evidence. That is when the evidence comes most quickly, because you are no longer pushing it away with doubt. You will notice, often without realizing it at first, that you move differently, speak differently, carry yourself differently. You will feel a quiet sureness in situations that once made you anxious. This change in your state is magnetic. It draws from them the exact behavior you have been imagining, because you are finally a perfect match for the reality you have been creating. Do not be surprised if, as this energy grows, they begin to appear in your reality more often, physically, digitally, or even through mutual connections. They may reach out in ways that seem small at first, but carry a depth of feeling they cannot mask. Every message, every glance, every seemingly coincidental encounter will be infused with the charge you have been sending out. They will feel it even more strongly than you do, because you are its source and they are its receiver. And here is a truth you must hold on to. Once obsession takes root, it does not simply vanish. It deepens with attention, and because you have planted it in the richest soil, the realm of the unseen, it will grow stronger with each passing day. The outer may seem slow at first, but the inner is working tirelessly. They will try to shake it, perhaps, if they are unprepared for the depth of what they feel. But each attempt will only highlight to them how inseparable you have become from their inner life. You have occupied their thoughts in a way that no one else has, and there is no undoing that once it has been claimed in consciousness. It is important to carry this state lightly. Obsession in consciousness is not about clinging, it is about radiating. You are not gripping at them, you are standing in the truth of being the one they cannot look away from. You are not pushing them to see you, you are allowing the natural gravity of your assumed reality to draw them in. And gravity never strains, it simply is. The more lightly you hold this truth, the faster and more effortlessly it manifests in their world. So in the quiet of the night, before sleep, see them thinking of you, smiling at a memory you've planted, longing for a moment that hasn't yet happened but feels inevitable to them. Let this be the last image in your mind before you drift into dreams. In those hours, the conscious mind rests and the deeper mind works unhindered. You will send out the clearest, strongest impressions then. And when you wake, return to the same feeling, carrying it with you into the day like a secret power. You may notice, as this becomes your natural state, that you no longer feel the same urgency you once did. That is the sign you have fully embodied it. You have stepped into the end, and in the end there is nothing to strive for. You simply are. From this place, their obsession with you is as certain as the rising sun. It is not something you must check on, not something you must maintain through effort, but something that unfolds of its own accord because you have already made it real where it matters most. And when they come, because they will, you will not need to grasp at them or question their motives. You will know with the same quiet certainty that brought them to you that you are the center of their world. They will speak it, show it, live it. Every action will confirm what you have been living within all along, that they cannot escape you, not because you have trapped them, but because you have become the place where their mind finds its home. You have made yourself the answer to their unspoken longings, and now that they have tasted it, there is no turning away. So walk forward now with the calm of one who has already won. Let the world catch up to what you know. Let them fall deeper without you needing to lift a finger. For in truth, you have already done everything. You have created it, claimed it, and lived it. The rest is simply the unveiling. There is a sacred power in moving through life as though what you have claimed is already so. When you hold yourself in the knowing that you are the pulse in their thoughts, the longing in their chest, the quiet voice they hear in the still moments, you carry an energy that changes everything, not only between you and them, but in how the entire world responds to you. People will feel it, even if they do not know why. They will notice the lightness in your step, the ease in your gaze, the quiet magnetism that comes from one who needs nothing, because they already live in the fulfillment of their desire. And that energy is irresistible, not just to them, but to everyone. This is why obsession is not something you chase, it is something you radiate into being. When you live in the end, you no longer grasp for scraps of attention. You exude the confidence of one who is already adored beyond measure. That confidence is not arrogance, it is alignment. And alignment is what calls everything you desire into form. Your thoughts are no longer scattered between what you want and what you fear. You dwell entirely in what you want until it becomes the only truth your mind entertains. If you truly understood the weight of your inner conversations, you would never again allow yourself to imagine being unwanted, ignored, or forgotten. Those scenes are poison to the reality you are crafting. And yet so many indulge them without realizing they are creating exactly what they fear. So from this moment on, treat your imagination as sacred ground. Allow no scene to play there, except the one you wish to see reflected. And if an old image of rejection or absence tries to enter, simply replace it with your chosen vision. Their eyes seeking you out in a room, their voice soft when they speak your name, their presence leaning toward you as though drawn by an invisible thread. This thread is real. It is the bond formed in consciousness before it ever appears in the physical. Every time you return to the feeling of being their secret, irresistible fixation, you tighten that thread. Every time you waver and look to outer facts for proof, you loosen it. But the beauty of this law is that it always responds now. You can return to the truth at any moment, and the moment you do, the connection strengthens again. There is no punishment for past doubts, only the present choice to hold your vision. Picture them now, not as a stranger to this feeling, but as one who has always been in love with the idea of you, though they may only now be recognizing it. See their past through the lens of this obsession. Imagine that even before you decided to claim this, they felt an unexplained pull toward you. This reframing is powerful because it tells your mind that nothing needs to be created from nothing. It is only the unveiling of what has always been. When you accept this, you remove all resistance, for the mind cannot doubt what it believes has always been true. You might wonder why they have not yet expressed this openly if it is already so. The answer is simple. The inner precedes the outer. In their inner world, the obsession is already alive, growing stronger with every passing moment. It is weaving itself into their identity, into their sense of self, until one day it spills over into action they cannot control. That action might take the form of a sudden message, an unexpected visit, or a confession that surprises even them. But when it comes, you will not be surprised. You will simply recognize it as the echo of what you have been living in all along. When you live in this state, the physical gap between you, whether in miles or in circumstances, becomes irrelevant. Thought is not bound by space. Energy does not respect the limits of distance. You could be in opposite corners of the world and still occupy their mind as though you were right beside them. They may try to distract themselves with other people, other activities, but nothing will remove you from the center of their awareness. This is the nature of true obsession. It does not fade in absence. It grows. In fact, distance can often serve your vision, for in absence the mind turns inward, and in that quiet space your image stands out more vividly. Without the daily noise of your physical presence, they are left with the version of you you have impressed upon their inner world. And if you have been consistent, that version is irresistible. It is idealized, magnetic, unforgettable. They will compare others to it without meaning to, and nothing will measure up. That quiet disappointment with everything that is not you will only deepen the fixation. Your role is to hold steady, to trust the invisible process more than the visible evidence. This requires a kind of faith that does not waver when the senses present a different picture. It is not blind faith. It is faith rooted in the absolute knowing that consciousness creates reality. When you understand this, you realize there is no such thing as failure, only the choice to persist or to abandon your vision. And why would you abandon it? Knowing that the outer must eventually mirror the inner if you refuse to move from it. So walk through your days as though the truth were already common knowledge. You are the one they cannot forget, the one they long for in quiet moments, the one whose absence they feel as keenly as a missing heartbeat. Carry it with you into every interaction, every thought, every dream. Let it be the undercurrent of your being, unshakable and constant. The more naturally you hold it, the more naturally it will manifest, until one day the line between what you imagined and what you see dissolves completely. At that moment, you will understand in your bones what you have always known in your mind, that they cannot escape you, for you are the reality they now live in. Feel the texture of this truth in your body now, the warmth in your chest when you imagine their eyes finding yours, the quiet hum of certainty that you are already the one they crave without pause. Let it move through you as naturally as breath, because the more you inhabit it as your normal state, the more effortlessly the world reshapes itself to match. This is not about forcing yourself to feel something artificial. It is about letting yourself sink into the reality that already exists in the unseen. For the unseen is not less real than the seen. It is more real, for it is the cause of all that comes after. When you truly embody being their secret obsession, it stops feeling like something you are doing and starts feeling like something you simply are. There is a difference between trying to imagine and living from the imagination as fact. In the first, you're an actor pretending on a stage, hoping the role will become real. In the second, you're the truth itself, and the outer stage merely reflects you. That's the shift. The moment you stop wishing and begin knowing, and once you know, you no longer feel the old anxiety about when or how it will happen. You understand that the how has already been set in motion the instant you claimed it within. They feel you now. Even if they are across a city, across an ocean, they are aware of you in ways they cannot explain. You cross their mind when they wake and when they lie down to sleep. They catch themselves imagining your face in moments of quiet, hearing your voice in the spaces between noise. They do not realize that it is because you have already taken residence in their inner world. The thoughts you send, the feelings you project, they pass into their mind seamlessly, as though they were born there. And so they cannot separate themselves from you, for you are not an intruder in their world, you are part of the fabric of it. Do not break this thread by questioning its strength. You may be tempted in moments when the outer seems slow to change, to wonder if it is working. That very wondering is a step out of the state. Instead, remind yourself the seed has been planted and growth is inevitable. You do not dig up a seed to see if it is sprouting. You water it with attention, nourish it with feeling, and trust the unseen work. Every time you return to the feeling of being the center of their attention, you are watering that seed. Every time you dwell in the scene of them longing for you, you are feeding it with life. Imagine now the way their life bends around this pull. They may be speaking to others, yet a part of their mind drifts back to you. They may be busy with daily tasks, but a scent, a song, a fleeting image brings you flooding back to the forefront. And each time it happens, it leaves a deeper imprint, until you are not just a thought but a constant presence. They will not be able to pinpoint when it began. It will feel to them as if it has always been this way. That is the beauty of planting in the deep mind. It does not arrive like a stranger knocking at the door. It emerges like a memory they never knew they had. You must see yourself as the ultimate fulfillment of their unspoken need. Not one option among many, not a passing interest, but the only one that feels right, the only one that quiets the restless searching. This self-perception is not arrogance. It is alignment with the version of you that already exists in the reality you desire. And the moment you adopt it fully, they will begin to sense it. Your energy changes when you step into this knowing. You walk differently, speak differently, occupy space differently. They feel this shift even from a distance, and it draws them like a tide. This is why your inner world is the only place where the work is done. You do not need to send them messages, drop hints, or try to engineer encounters unless those actions flow naturally from the state. Forced action comes from doubt. Inspired action comes from knowing. If you must act, let it be from the quiet confidence of someone who understands that the outcome is already secured. And if you feel no urge to act, rest in the power of your assumption. The silence of knowing is often the most potent force in creation. When doubt whispers, as it sometimes will, do not fight it directly. Fighting only feeds it. Instead, return immediately to your inner scene. See them as you wish them to be, eyes lit with the recognition of you, voice soft with the weight of what they feel. Breathe into it until the doubt fades, and then release it. You are not here to struggle your way into this reality. You are here to rest in it until it shows itself outwardly. And when the signs begin to surface, and they will, you will feel the shift before you see it. You will sense their energy reaching toward you, even if you have no physical evidence yet. You will feel the invisible thread pulling taut, drawing them closer, and when the physical reflects it, through words, actions, and circumstances, you will not be startled. You will greet it as the natural next step in a process you have been living all along. They cannot escape what you have claimed, for in truth there is nowhere to escape to. You exist now in their inner landscape the way a mountain exists in the horizon, permanent, immovable, impossible to ignore. They can turn away for a time, but when they look back, there you are. They can fill their days with noise and movement, but in the quiet you return. And each return deepens the inevitability until they no longer fight it but surrender to it fully. Walk through your days with this quiet triumph in your heart. It is already done. You do not need to hope or plead. You have chosen, you have claimed, and the world is already bending to that choice. The obsession you have planted is alive, growing and unstoppable, and when it fully blooms, it will feel to them as though they have loved you forever, as though you have always been the answer they were seeking.